And now, our feature presentation.
And it was at that point that I realized that I think I should adventure and try putting more things in my butt. Hello, welcome to another episode of It Sure Is a Podcast. I'm Brandon.
I'm a fat sack of crap.
That's Eric over there looking like a snack. I guess I've heard that it's good to introduce yourselves for like people who are jumping into the episode instead of like...
It is, and I wanted that to be somebody's first impression of me. I feel pretty bad about myself this morning after the adventure I went on.
Regale us. What have you done?
Okay, so if there are any first-time listeners, this is pretty indicative of what you'll get out of me. Brandon has the more thoughtful, video game and life-related anecdotes. I, on the other hand... It was my wife's birthday weekend, and we ate pretty well. I took her out to dinner, and we went to brunch, blah, blah, blah.
We're fancy, we're nice.
Yeah, and then this morning, I was like, let's be terrible. She's like, I kind of want some Taco Bell breakfast. I'm like, this is why I love you. You speak my language. So anyway.
Taco Bell breakfast.
I went to go drive to Taco Bell to pick it up. I am 90% of the way there and realize I don't have my wallet. So I have to turn around, drive all the way back home, grab it. And she's like, you don't have to go. And I'm like, no. I had my expectations set. You gave me permission to get Taco Bell breakfast. I'm getting Taco Bell breakfast.
You're getting Taco Bell breakfast.
So I turn around and drive all the way back, this time with my wallet.
Right.
Make them make me fresh hash browns because they're like, we don't have hash browns. I'm like, can you cook them? And they're like, yeah, it'll be a couple minutes. I'm like, my car will be by the front door. Bring it out when they're ready.
These workers were just like, oh god, it's one of these like, usually people are in a rush for breakfast, so they're like, oh, I'll just order something else. You're the guy who's like,
I'm the guy who made them wait. Mind you, I am not showered, teeth are not brushed, my hair I look like a college student doing the walk of shame, but in my car.
Yes, okay.
And so I sat there, I ordered 4. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 breakfast or sausage breakfast crunch wraps, because I was like, 2 for me, 2 for my wife. I get home. Well, I ate one of mine on the drive home. I get home and I ate my other one and my hash brown, and she ate her hash brown thing. She's like, oh, I'm so full. I'm like, what? No, I got you 2. She's like, I'm not eating 2. I can't eat 2. That's too much food. Here's me already having eaten 2 and still being hungry. She's like, you can have this if you want. So I immediately ate it like the horrid person that I am.
No.
And then after that, I sat there. I was like, what am I doing with my life? I just ate 3 crunch wraps and a hash brown.
I mean, they are good. From my perspective of how I've been really strict on healthy eating, a part of me misses that and is envious, but a part of me is like, you disgusting pig.
I feel like a disgusting pig right now. I am not a large man by nature. I am a large man now by choice.
By choice.
Or by bad choice, I should say.
It's a bad choice, good choice. It's still a choice. You always feel like bloated after that. Whenever you eat
my stomach is hitting... I have my little setup over here. My stomach is now hitting the board. That never used to happen. Now, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, I don't even think I can talk normal. I'm just going to have to talk like this from now on.
That's the Taco Bell way. You just feel like...
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I can't
Is that your jowls hanging down and you're just like...
Flapping against my throat as I'm talking?
And when you talk, they slap on your cheeks and they slap in front of your mouth.
I'm growing a beard now and everybody's like, oh, you're growing a beard for winter? I'm like, nah, for double chin.
Yeah, to hide it. That's... All right, us guys, we have that perfect that mechanism that we can hide the double chin by growing a beard. My issue is all right, I can grow the goatee, right? Well, technically goatee is technically just a beard patch on the bottom. I forget what it's mustache included. I can grow that, but everything else grows below my jawline. It is the definition of neck beard.
Yeah.
And what's so frustrating is on the side of my face, it doesn't grow. It's a baby's bottom. But as soon as you go below...
I almost spit my coffee out when you said that.
Almost as soon as it goes below the jawline, it's gone. We lose it. We lose it forever. It's gone. And I don't know what to do. Like, do I need product or do I need to
Implants.
go see? I might need just hair plugs on the side of my face.
Do it. Let's do it. We need to get this podcast big enough that we can afford to do that.
Hair plugs on the side of Brandon's face so he can look normal.
Just look like Elon Musk's head.
Yeah. Yeah, just all the hair
Burn.
plugs.
But Tesla, if you want to sponsor us too, reach out.
I mean, those people aren't going to sponsor us. They're not going to sponsor
I'm
going
to put my hope into the world. My shill nature wants to make us money.
Be more realistic, like something smaller, something...
How about Taco Bell? I eat there all the time.
Dude, Taco Bell is huge. Like, that is not something that you can get... Like, have you ever, like, seen anything, like, on the internet or anything on a podcast, like, today we're sponsored by Taco Bell? That doesn't happen. Be realistic. Like...
I was always told to shoot for the stars.
No, just shoot for the atmosphere. The stars,
Shoot for walking up the steps, man.
Yeah, shoot
Your
for...
fat self can't make it up
Shoot for
that
waking
high.
up in the morning. That's... If I woke up in the morning, I'm like, I did it. I did a good job.
I woke up on my third alarm.
Oh, the third alarm? I woke up because... Well, I was in charge of watching the house and the power went on and off and the dogs were barking because they wanted out. So that's why I woke up today. And I'm just like, all right. So my favorite thing is first thing in the morning, bundling up and going outside in our, kind of snow-filled. It's not supposed to snow this week, but the snow-filled land that we live in.
I'm not going to dox us, but just so everyone is aware, we don't live in sunny California like most of the podcasters. We actually have seasons. We have seasons here and they all suck.
I have noticed
except for our 3 weeks of fall that we get.
Yeah. Yeah, and I noticed that like a lot of podcasters live in warm places and nice places, and I'm like,
that or New York City,
like where they live in like the toilet. Well, like New York City is the toilet, but it's a very pretty toilet. I only want to go there to go to the Nintendo store and just a big chunk of change. Just go in there and just buy stuff.
Blow a bag at the Nintendo store. Everybody else is getting Gucci.
Oh yeah,
buying NFTs or Bitcoin. And
I'm strolling down with my bag that says Nintendo on it, and people are like, "Wow,
brand new Pokemon shirt on."
Yes,
I'm down. We should do that.
But the Pokemon shirt's like 3 sizes too small, so like my gut's hanging out, and it looks like
we need to do that and post it on the socials, but just cut our faces out so people can't see.
Dude, I'm game. I always wanted to. All right, before COVID hit, the whole reason I got a Switch Lite was because I wanted to travel more. That was a goal, right? And I was saving up a bunch of money. I'm like, I just want to travel, like just hop on a train, go to, New York. Yeah, that's the train ride to New York is ridiculous because here in the States, our train system is a complete joke compared to everywhere else in the world.
I love how
where
people
they have like bullet trains. You get there in seconds. And
it took me a while to realize this. It still makes me laugh that everybody thinks the US is the ideal, like globally. I'm like, we can't even do public transit, and you want to say like we're the greatest?
Yeah,
we're not bad, but
public transit. Let's
let's figure out how to get from point A to point B, and then we'll go from there.
And it's better in some spots, but like where we live, it's terrible. It's awful. I was listening to a podcast. A guy was explaining how he like rode a train from like point A all the way to point B, and point B was down south more. And like the more you got south, like it wasn't as good as other places have it, but it got better as like the further you went down south. Like the train got better, it got faster. It was more like put together. Where we live, like I had to drop my sister off at the train station once to go to New York, and like they go in there and they're just like, it is like bare bones of like what
they
you
still
would
have
expect.
phone booths because those are still used as public restrooms, probably.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it.
You like get the ticket, and then there's just some guy just standing outside, sort of like, you want to ride a train? And
you're just like, wait. I want the real train. We're not talking the metaphorical train, right?
and like the guy, like my sister, like handed him the ticket. He's like, oh yeah, I guess you should probably have a ticket. All right, go on in.
All right.
And she's like, isn't there a seat? He's like, just sit wherever. Like, that's like,
he's just looking at her like, who nobody uses trains anymore. Just go sit.
Enough people do, apparently, to warrant this, but I also had to drop her off at like 4 a.m. Yeah. Where do we get onto this tangent?
Something about public transit, but I have one more quick one so then we can get back on topic.
I don't even remember what the topic was, so go for it.
Me either. We had some comedians come to town, well-known comedians, so I took my wife one year for her birthday or anniversary, something.
Yeah.
But we went there, and their opening guy made jokes about, it's like, yeah, it's always fun to see people, and like the best way to get out and, see a community is, use their public transport, like their bus system. Every single person in the audience, because we obviously were all locals, was like, oh no. And he's that reaction, I wish somebody would have told me that before we got on your bus.
I've heard the buses a few times, like in college and like in certain situations. They have never been a decent experience.
Not in however long they...
My standards are low, but man, did they not meet those low standards.
He's like, there's a lot of interesting people. Met Frank. She was a lovely lady. And he was like, he just kept ripping on it. It was hilarious. But I was like, yeah, that's where we live.
I distinctly remember the one time I rode the bus. It's just in college. I like hopped on the bus with my friend to go to like the inhabited place because our college was out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, out in the boonies.
And we drove out there. And we're just kind of hanging out, and there's just this like person sitting there, old, like, I was kind of impressed though. It's like this old, wrinkly, pale white dude with dreads, and he just screamed the entire time. Not anything. Just screamed.
Scream therapy.
And like we
what better place?
We kind of asked the bus driver, it's like, is he okay? Should we do something? Bus driver's like, no, he does that every single day.
Bus driver's like, I get paid minimum wage to do this. I am not gonna, I don't care.
Seriously. And I guess the bus driver didn't go too far into it, but they're like, yeah, it's a complaint, but there's nothing we can do. And I'm like, awesome. Yeah, great.
I grew up dirt poor, never rode the bus, refused to.
Like, I will walk. Like after that,
that's what we did.
I will give gas money to someone just to drive us there. After that experience, my friend's like, yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. And I'm like, no, neither do I. I don't even know how.
Something about the weather and podcasting. Because I made a joke about we don't live in California.
Okay,
so.
Everyone is all fancy schmancy and do their podcast in nice warm places, but this is also an excellent segue. I'm glad you were able to remember into the podcast review. A few months ago, I said, or maybe 1 month, I don't know. Time is
meaningless.
Time is meaningless. I said I was going to review some podcasts. So we got some podcasts to review.
I'm excited. I'm strapped in. Story time.
I listened to the podcasts, and let's do this one first. Keys to Adulthood. Done by someone who actually does follow us on Twitter and does interact with us. So thank you for being awesome for It Shares a Podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Since there's that interaction, I'm like, all right, I'm going to help you out, right? So Keys to Adulthood, what are you looking for? Well, let me read you just the description so I can give you the most authentic experience. This podcast is designed to help inform you on the different jobs out there, how you can be successful financially, and more. However, we cover colleges, trade schools, limited learning jobs, and beginner-level jobs. Whether you're just starting out in the workforce or if you've been there a while, searching for just the right job can be hard. We also cover any and everything you need to build your futures as best as you can. We also have featured creators from our Project Earth to support this podcast, and then there's a link below if you want to do that for Keys to Adulthood by Cadence Lee.
Wow, that sounds legit.
That is legit. It's better than our description.
And we just talked about how our public transit sucks. And she's like, here's how to become a millionaire.
So the one I listened to, and I'm going to throw it out there, like, honest, throwing it out there. This isn't anything against her or the podcast at all.
Man, anything that comes before the butt doesn't matter. Just remember that.
This is not a topic that interests me because I'm the type that's kind of free spirit floating around. Whatever happens, happens, because I have no control over my life, fate, anything you want to put there. I'm not in control. I make, pudding at 2 a.m. I'm not in control of my life. If you got the Rugrats joke, I appreciate you. But I'm not in control of my life, right? So this is very much a podcast for people who are like, all right, I want to better myself. I want to learn these things because Sometimes our...
This is for those of you who still have hope.
Still have hope, yes. Our hope has been drained long ago. Hopefully, some people get motivated and want to seek that extra support, because sometimes our education system is garbage and doesn't really actually teach you the things
I'm going to just call
need.
them out. Screw our education system. I'm not coughing. Our education sucks.
Like a lot of topics are like graduation, what you need to do before you walk, hobbies and jobs. And I listened to Financial Planning for School. I listened to that one, and I also listened to Benefits of General Jobs, right? Now, this isn't a topic that interests me, but I could definitely see this podcast, if you're looking for something like that, to be beneficial. A lot of the episodes are short and sweet, get right to the point. There's no filler, like 99% of our episodes where we talk about a topic, and then you listen to it and you're like, they talked about that for 5 minutes, and then they talked about like ERs and crap in their pants.
I believe it was coming out your butthole was our big topic that week.
One, yes, that one, coming out our butts. So Keys Adulthood, it's good stuff. I actually like... I'm honest, right? I'm honest about what I think, and I'm like, I benefited from this. I wish I knew this. And for Keys to Adulthood, how you contacted me, that story we talked about on Twitter, that will come right after the podcast review. Final podcast review, one that I was very, very disappointed in. Are you gonna get us beef in it? Yeah, we're gonna get some. We're gonna I guess we would, what's the word I'm looking for? Fabricate some beef. We're going to fabricate beef. All right, so this other podcast is called IntoleRANT. So INTOLE is all, capital obviously for the I, but the rest is lowercase, and then rant is in capitals. IntoleRANT with Jess and Nad. So let me give you the background for their podcast. Do you know what a rant hole is? Do you want to? From cult TV shows to smutty, woefully written fanfics and nostalgic life memories, it's all up for discussion. Join Jess and Nads as they clink wine glasses and trade thoughts over the week's chosen topic, threatening to die on hills and just generally having a ranting good time.
That sounds good.
That's what you would think.
That sounds like something I would want to listen to.
So here's the issue. I listened to episode 3, Conspiracy Theories. Now, Eric, do you know what the definition for intolerant is?
Almost bigoted, basically. Like you're not really not accepting of other viewpoints. You
probably heard me typing in my phone to get the
the actual definition.
I'm going to read it to you. Not tolerant of views, beliefs, or behavior that different from one's own.
Dang, I was right on.
You were right on. And then the second one, if we want to be super fancy, unable to be given a medicine or other treatment, or to eat a food without adverse effects. So obviously lactose intolerant, or intolerant, not being accepting of people's views. So I went into the podcast expecting two terrible, horrible human beings that I would sit there and belittle. A lot of their statements were actually tolerant.
I wonder if that's the irony of their podcast.
Eric, this is a bitch. Shut up. So I expect terrible human beings. I got the rant. They did rant about conspiracy theories. But what? I got the rant, but I didn't get the intoler. So I don't know what to believe. They should have called it just tolerant.
I want to point this out. You're mad because they were too accepting.
I expected garbage human beings because intolerant, the definition of the word. And then I listened to the podcast.
So you went in there hoping to find a bunch of fat, angry white guys, and you found people who are like, live your lives, and that's what upset you?
Not fat, angry white guys, because Jess and Nads are both women. They're also Australian. And
Everything you're saying makes me want to listen to this podcast even more.
at the end of the day, I hope everyone takes it as a good humor. It was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I was a little upset that they were tolerant of, they even had statements like, you are who you are. I'm like, an intolerant person would never say that. Ever.
You're just mad because that was false advertising. I expected bigotry.
I really did. And yeah, that was the that was my experience with IntoleRANT. They did rant, they provided on that. They weren't intolerant, so we docu points on that. So like comparing it to our podcast, like our podcast, even with all the poor quality, the poor sound issues, I don't know what I'm doing. I rate us 8 out of 10, right?
10 out of 10. We're perfect.
Perfect.
Fight
10,
me, bro.
All right, we'll go 10 out of 10. So let's rate it. So honestly, like the Keys to Adulthood, it was helpful, beneficial. It's not something I listen to all the time, but I learned something. So I'd rate it like a 2 out of 10. And then like for IntoleRANT, I'll be honest, like I'm going to rate that like a 0.5 out of 10. I expected terrible human beings, and I got 2 very lovely people who
just sounds like you want podcasts that are just like just the epitome of like trash can civilization. And you're like, these are all super legit people. Cancel.
My thing is, you get more engagement when you're negative and you talk crap on things.
Damn it, that's true.
That is true, right? People more talk about it when you disagree. If you agree with something, you're like, I agree with that. No one talks about it. But if you disagree or fabricate beef, which is the title of the episode, Fabricating Beef with Podcasters, yeah, that was my goal. So, and I, threw it out there. I sent out a, hey, at you, I reviewed your podcast. You better listen. So we might have like 2 extra listens this time. Fingers crossed on that one.
And then we're also just going to get barraged by all of their listeners because they're bigger podcasts than we are.
They really are. They definitely
they're
are.
a million times bigger.
Too. Like 100%. I look at them and I'm like, man, I want to be them one day. And my issue is whenever I was like starting out this journey, I'd find podcasts, listen, and then I'd look them up. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're huge. I'm not touching that. Because we will be canceled into the dirt, into the earth. And speaking of bad press and like negative conversation, put a bookmark there because I have to tell my story that I posted on Twitter the other day. So let me regale you with the tweet I sent out. Hold on, I gotta bring up Twitter.
I still can't get over how you're reviewing these podcasts.
So if you're listening and you're like, I want a new podcast, IntoleRANT 0.5 out of 10, Keys to Adulthood 2 out of 10. I can't rate them too close to us. You know what I mean?
I can't. I'm gonna have to review these on my own, guys.
Yeah. Eric's probably gonna come back and be like, actually, they're both really good. I really enjoyed them.
We could take lessons from these podcasts.
Oh, we could. I agree with that, but we're still 10 out of 10. Okay. I tweeted this yesterday. Here's my tweet. You ever follow an artist forever ago, and when you occasionally hop on to this degenerate app, you are greeted with a nude guy with a throbbing erection impaled on some massive demon's dick? And I just sent that, and that's when our person contacted me, commented, and it was like, I hope you share the link to that episode because what?
Yeah, what? So that was my response.
This is for you, and the story that led to this. All right, so, gosh, I didn't save the image because I'm not that type of person. I don't know if I'm able to find it. Dude, I don't use Twitter. Once upon a time, I used Twitter a long time ago. In a previous episode, I talked about like how I made a comment and everyone just freaked out and lost their minds. And I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. I only have it for the people who use Twitter. So I'm like, hey, episode out there, right?
I would say Google it, but you're going to get a lot of images that you probably don't want.
Yeah. Maybe it's under likes. I definitely remember it's this person. Okay, this is going to take way too long. I'm not going to waste everyone's time. So the image was like a ripped dude, and it was drawn well. A ripped dude with a throbbing erection sitting on this like demon's dick.
But animated. thing. Okay.
It's drawn. It's
Yeah,
a picture. And he's just sitting there, look of pleasure in his face. He's like, right. So, all right. So I was hopping on my phone and just shooting out some messages to, just the social medias like, hey, new episode.
You took
coming
that
up
in a
this
way
week.
different direction than I was. You just described that picture, and I was like, I was hopping on too, and I was really waiting for my demon dildo. It inspired me.
So there I was, hopping onto my dragon dildo, my bad dragon dildo, making sure I get down to the knot. Everyone's sitting there like, all right, I'm done with the podcast. No, so I'm just getting on the socials, throwing out like, hey, episode this, my mic. As I'm,
10 out of 10. Remember
10
that,
out
guys.
of 10, I'm dropping my mic. So I'm hopping onto the apps to just let everyone know, episode Friday, watching my niece. Niece and I, we hang out, we'll play games, it's Friday night, always watching her. So I hop on there, and the first thing I bring up on Twitter, and thankfully, this sweet, innocent child was looking away when I brought up the app.
Yeah, she's pretty young still, isn't she?
She's 5.
Oh.
So the second I bring up my phone, just that image is the first thing that pops up, and I immediately
look at it.
Immediately turn my phone away as I'm scrolling and hitting buttons, and I look over to her, and she's sitting there just with her doll brushing its hair. Did not see a thing. I'm like, thank goodness.
I could see you just smacking her face away. Don't look.
Yeah, exactly. The second I bring it up, and she's like, oh, and I'm like, psh, slap her across the room, and she collapses on the floor. Does the Family Guy thing where the arms bent over and the legs broken, whatever.
Necks
they fall.
in a 90-degree
Yeah. I was, oh my gosh, that was that story. I was so thankful she did not look, because that is just a discussion I'm like, we're not having at 5 years old.
Uncle Brandon.
And the thing
why
was,
is that man sitting on Satan's lap?
And what is that? Actually, her parents went the route of raising her that she knows all the anatomy of a person, and sometimes she just blurts it out. Like if her and I were playing what was it? We were throwing the ball back and forth, outside back and forth, and the ball arced in such a way where I tried to grab it, it missed, it hit me in the dick, right?
Yeah.
I almost tried to make it be appropriate, it hit me in the genital, but it doesn't matter because we just talked about some terrible things.
We just talked about Satan impaling a man.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't hurt, but it just I caught it and I just fumbled it and it hit me there. And my niece, bless her soul, was sitting there. She's like, oh, is your penis okay? And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I looked at him like, yeah, we're fine. Yeah, all's good. And then we had to talk. I'm like, I appreciate that you were concerned, but next time, you don't have to.
I want to be the good Uncle Brandon. I don't want to be the creepy Uncle Brandon.
Yeah, I was just like, listen, you can ask, are you okay? You don't have to name the body part. There was a time when she would just name the body part. And
so
yeah, she's super bright kid. And, there is that, that statement where it's like, oh, my kid's the smartest, my kid's a great, my kid, my relative is the best kid in the world. No, she's legitimately way too smart for her age. But we had the talk, and I'm like, oh, just say, are you okay? That looked like it hurt. That's a better way to say it. And she was like, okay. So we practiced that, asking that instead of whatever else. She's like, is your penis okay?
So on a similar vein, we had, obviously, Halloween was just a couple months ago, not too long.
Yes.
Well, my very young niece, she was 2, she's turning 3 soon. Anyway, my older brother would kill me. I will never tell them the name of this podcast, because if they hear this, they'll probably kill me.
Oh no!
But
no. Fabricating beef with family members, along with fabricating beef with podcasters.
I have never seen a child so emotive. I don't even know if that's a word, but
expressive. Whenever they get excited, instead of being like,
or angry.
Wow.
Well, and all the faces she makes, it's just very. I'm like, you look like a comedian who's been doing stand-up for 30 years and is playing to the crowd. But she's 2, and it's just how she is. But anyway, she was super excited. She was trying to tell us she was Queen Barb from Trolls. I don't know if you've ever seen. So she went out in the rocker outfit. She had the big boots on. She had a mohawk, and she was all excited. Cool. And
was it a legit mohawk, or was it a wig?
It was a wig.
All right. I was wondering, I'm like, are her parents cool enough to be like, we're shaving your head, we're making you a mohawk?
Oh, that would have been so cool. But no, they just put the wig on. But it was a pretty legit costume. I saw the photos of it. I thought it was cool. But she was trying to explain to us because we didn't actually see her. She had, when they made the round, she was in a princess outfit. But she was super excited. She had to tell us. As Queen Barb. But she has trouble. Obviously, she's a small child still. She has trouble pronouncing some words. So she looked and she's like, she kept saying she couldn't think of the word for mohawk, and so she kept like showing. She's like, "Yeah, I had this and this," and she's like, "And I had the hair. I had."
I like the hand motions for.
Yeah, I know it's audio podcast, and I'm like waving my hands in the air. But it was you'll get why this is even funnier because. And then finally, she's like, "I had a male cock on my head." And we were like, "What? What?" And we all immediately started dying laughing, and she was just looking around at us, and I looked at my brother and sister-in-law, and I was like, she's not supposed to have that type of Halloween for like 20 years.
I have a male cock on my head.
But then she did it again because she was trying to pronounce it, because we were all laughing, so she knew she did it wrong, and I felt really bad because I think she got a little, yeah, because she knew she was, so she screamed it again, trying to put more.
Well, I mean, did anyone go to this child and be like, it's Mohawk? Mohawk's the word.
After we all stopped laughing, obviously, my brother looked at it. He's like, he was like, it's Mohawk. We get what you're saying.
It's Mohawk. We understand. It's not male cock. It's Mohawk.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. But it was so funny because she was just so excited when she was trying to tell us about it, and she just started screaming that, and I was like, man, that just sounds like a Friday night.
Oh my god. Kids. There's that innocence where they're allowed to get away with it. Now, if I were to walk into a public place and be like, "Hey guys, look at my male cock," I would get in trouble, be on a list somewhere, and go to jail.
Well, it was just so funny because we all knew what she was trying to say, but oh man.
And it's because I mean, like kids that age, best comedians because they subvert your expectations all the time.
But that's why the hand motions, as she was like, I was like, oh no.
All right, we're reaching the point in the podcast where we have not even touched on the big things we need to talk about. So here we go. Netflix. We're talking about bad reviewed stuff, bad negative
I got
things.
An IntoleRANT for you coming up.
Oh, no. Don't. Man, I don't know if they have that trademark. Do better be careful. I don't.
Oh, bleep that out. Bleep that out. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to be editing it, and I'm too lazy to do that. So we're just sink or swim, I guess. So I don't know, I think last week was just us coming back to reality and we were both tired and feeling gross.
Yeah, I apologize for last episode.
Last episode was fine. I thought it was good. It just like
we were just so low energy.
Was not there. So during COVID, when I had it, Cowboy Bebop, the live action series came out.
So completely on accident, I never watched it, and I saw, obviously because of the live action coming out, they had the original animated series.
Did you watch it all?
And I watched it all the way through, because I remember watching a little bit as a kid, but I never got to finish it. So good, now it's stream. It was great. I was like, this is so weird, but it's so good.
Sub or dub?
I did do the dubbed version.
Dub is fine. I don't have any. I know some people who do have issues with that. I like to watch something while I do something else. So if there's a dub version, and also the guy who did Spike's voice was perfect.
Yeah, he's done a lot of voice actor work. Yeah, but yeah, I just, for animated stuff like that, I like the dub versions. For kind of, I would say either live action or real.
Like the Kingdom. You enjoyed that.
I will watch in because I watch subbed versions because I like to hear the actual actors, but it's to each his own, I guess.
So you watched it, you enjoyed it.
Yeah? I highly enjoyed it.
Now,
a little sad at the ending, but I did highly enjoy it.
Yeah, that ending. Now, like Cowboy Bebop, I knew the premise, I knew the world and the ending, but I never watched it. Right? So during COVID, well, actually, just before I got it, I watched the original series. Then I got it, and the Netflix show came out. and I watched it.
That was your first mistake.
And I was like, here's the thing. It's like that thing where it's like, I wasn't expecting anything and I was still disappointed in the sense that my standards were so low. After watching the live action Cowboy Bebop, I think it actually made my COVID virus cells, whatever you want to call it, multiply.
Yeah, because they were pissed at you. They were trying to kill you for
they were killing me
such.
Because like I just imagine like they're like up in my brain looking through whatever my eyes see through, and they're seeing the TV and they're like, dude, we never see Cowboy Bebop, but we know this bad. All right, we gotta kill this guy. You're like,
Let's talk about all of the horrendous live-action debacles that Netflix needs to stop ruining for a freaking childhood.
List them off.
All right, so Cowboy Bebop just came out. They made like 4 Rurouni Kenshin movies. All of them look freaking terrible. Then there's Bleach. There's Full Metal Alchemist. I think there's actually like 2 or 3 more where they just can't stop ruining them. Leave it alone. That was my mic wobbling. I apologize.
As you break your mic in your anger. They're doing a live. Let me throw this in there. They're doing a live action Netflix show of Yu Yu Hakusho.
I will kill them. I will kill you. Just stop. Stop.
I don't understand the.
If they're gonna do it, put all of that money from all those seasons and just make a standalone movie, but make it good. You suck at live action adaptations. You aren't good at it. You know why? Because they were animated features and they were designed to be standalone shows, and they just had that nostalgia and charm and wonderfulness. They were just rainbows and sunshine, even though most of the topics were super dark.
So let me add on to the end there. The reason they are held in high regard, right? Whenever you go for like a movie top 100 things or like top 100 TV shows, anime, the good ones, are sprinkled out through there. Anime is a very polarizing kind of medium because a lot of adults like that's weird weeaboo cartoons.
Well, and there can be super weird anime out there. And so I get that.
There is. There's a lot of... never mind. Keep going. I'm having like PTSD flashbacks of like watching certain animes, and I'm like, I can't get out of my head.
But this is so clearly, and here's why. If I thought it was some artists like truly wanted to honor it and be like, I want to update this, I want to bring it into modern day, I want to pay homage to.
You can pay homage or
to, like,
if it's an homage.
That's what I was thinking. An homage,
but it's just how you say it.
Yeah, but it's. If they want to give credit to something that truly influenced them when they were younger, because these are all, older animes.
Yeah.
But they're not. It's a cash grab. That's all it is. It's like, oh, this is popping, and now all these viewers are older. Let's put it on here. And name recognition. You're going to destroy that name recognition, and people are going to... Like, you're going to lose money. This isn't just a nerdy white guy getting angry that you're ruining his childhood. Like, you will... financially, this will hurt you.
So I'm really glad you've actually watched through Cowboy Bebop, because I would like to do a whole episode where we break down all the theming and all the subtle plot things and all the details of Cowboy Bebop.
Everything in that was so subtle. It was subtle, but it was there was never anything that was there for no reason, right? It was crafted in such a way that it discussed a lot of the human emotions. It discussed a lot of what the characters were going through. It gave you the backstory. It gave you the overarching, main story arc. But it also left so much up to the imagination. They never nailed down certain things.
And what they were expecting you to do is they respected the viewer. This is when in media I respect, whether games, books, or movies, when they respect the viewer enough that they will be intelligent enough to put the pieces together.
Yeah.
And also they will be happy with the product, not knowing everything, but that's left up to the imagination. I can say, in my opinion, I think this happened in the show and I think that happened in the show, but it wasn't really put in there. Mm-hmm. Netflix and also Cowboy Bebop was canceled after that one season, because it was so badly reviewed and everyone lost their minds. Well,
that's because the people who do all of those highbrow reviewing didn't get it. They they want cinematic masterpieces, and Cowboy Bebop.
It sounds like you're defending the Netflix show, like the live action Netflix show.
Oh no! I thought you were talking about the original anime was canceled.
No, not the original anime. I'm talking about the Netflix live action.
I haven't even watched it, so I'm just gonna throw that out there. After everything else, I gave up.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this out there, and then we're gonna move on from Netflix with a positive thing, and then we're actually gonna get to the topic of the episode, which was the Game Awards, which we still haven't gotten to yet.
Oh yeah, and I actually have a few. I got a few games.
Yeah. So
forgot we're a video game podcast.
Yeah, we're just like two people with ADHD who just
oh my God,
got microphones, and here we are.
You just one day you're like, hey, I got a microphone. You want to jump on my podcast? I'm like, sure. What can go wrong?
What can go wrong? So the live. All right. Vicious. You know Vicious?
Loved the character of Vicious because he was a mysterious villain.
Mysterious. I like how you use that. He was mysterious. You didn't see him a lot, but you knew he was bad news by how everyone reacted to him.
But all of the subtle hints too, like he used to be Spike's partner and maybe he wasn't always this way, and then what happened to make him so vile and ambitious.
Yes. And I don't want to dig too much into that because we are doing a Bebop episode where we just...
Oh, that's right. All right, we're going to...
Right? In the show, the Netflix live action, Vicious is there all the time. He is mentally unhinged and very self-conscious about his masculinity. He married Julia, and his acting is awful. All of them. Now, okay, I can't say all of them because who they picked for Spike, Jet, and for oh my, why am I blanking on her
I'm
name?
blanking on her name too. The main girl, right?
What's her name?
Not the programmer, right?
Valentine. Something Valentine.
Wow, I'm a little scared because I just watched this.
All right,
and now
gotta get the name. My brain blanked on it as soon as I was thinking about it, and Cowboy Bebop. Let's just get some names.
Wow. I'm actually pretty.
Yep.
Pretty
Canceled. They shouldn't do live action adaptations because Faye Valentine.
Faye. Why did I kept thinking it was?
I don't know.
I kept wanting to say Veronica.
Nope.
I don't know.
So though, all right, who they picked for that? Okay, they did a decent job at that. The characters were not the characters. It was style over substance, and I think this really proved that there can be style, but if there's no substance, your style will not save you. The show was just a hodgepodge of different... they took the things from the show, like, oh, this happened in the show. But the reason in those episodes when that thing happened, there was a character-driven reason on why they reacted in such a way that they did. Why they did what they did. Why they acted how they acted. In this show, they're all just three best friends going through space.
But they weren't best friends. Jet has a kid?
Jet has a kid in the Netflix show.
Why?
I could not tell you. I don't know.
The kid was played by the Earth Little Tramp programmer.
Yeah, Edward.
Yeah.
Edward.
Who was a girl.
Radical Ed was in the show at the very end of the season, setting it up. She only showed up at the very end, and her 3 to 5 minutes on screen were so terrible.
But think about that's why live adaptations are so bad, is because you can't capture what you do in the show. What made her character was her goofiness, that reptilian nature of sitting still forever and then just bursting into movement, and
right. And that's only can be captured in animation.
Yeah, you can't have
live
a real
action because it looks goofy live action. It looks cringy, but in animation. And she was like the comic relief compared to everyone else. Those three people who might have been friends, but they probably weren't friends, and they were all depressed as hell.
But that was what made the original show so good, is that they weren't friends. It was a ragtag bunch that just happened to come together, and they didn't even stay together throughout the whole show. There was that dynamic to it as well.
And at the end, of the live action Cowboy Bebop, Julia.
Spoiler alerts for anybody.
No, I don't care. I'm not even going to put spoiler alerts. I don't think anyone should ever watch it. Julia takes over the syndicate.
What the?
You
okay,
see?
okay,
all the substance,
okay.
all the story, all the pieces that were
They're
like
trying to make it a Game of Thrones,
Game of
Thrones drama.
Yeah.
And it's just not.
And the thing is, it was dumbed down so much for audiences because if you want to make money, you can't put your trust in the audience because people are dumb.
I'm going to throw a real quick throwback to the beginning of our episode when we were talking about how crappy our education system is. By the way, like stuff like Netflix is a super global company. That's how they're still in business.
Right.
But
Yeah.
A lot of their shows do cater to an American-based audience.
And they are all dumb, which I'm kind of impressed that certain shows like The Kingdom last.
Well, that's why like everywhere else in the world, like Squid Game's #1. The Kingdom was huge. In America, it was ranked lower because we're stupid and we can't handle that. But anyway, I spent like 10 minutes earlier when I was quiet. I was looking for this one meme that our friend posted. And it's the Lord of the Rings when Aragorn's talking to Arwen and they're together. And it's Aragorn's the American high schoolers. So I was wondering how to taxes, and then Arwen's the American education system. And she goes, fear not, mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Obviously, describing a meme is about the worst thing you could ever do on an audio podcast, but I just...
Send that to me, and I will throw it on the socials. Just so people listen are like, what are they talking about? You'll see it on the socials.
Welcome to America's education system, and that's why we do stupid things like this.
We do very stupid things.
The rest of the world at least still has decent taste because they have good shows that consistently rank #1.
Yeah, and maybe it's because I just came off of watching Cowboy Bebop, like the original anime, and I was like getting those feelings, and I'm like, when it ended, I was like, I knew the ending was coming, but when I watched the whole series, it hit me hard because
it did, because it was just such a...
Every character had an aspect of something that we all struggle with, and it was represented so well. It's like shows like that, those anime, some of them, sometimes they're goofy, but sometimes they're so profound, deep, because the guy who directed it or made it had a story they wanted to tell, had a perspective, had a inner struggle they wanted to relay through their art. And it's beautiful. And then some just corporate guy, it's like, all right, Cowboy Bebop's getting popular again. All the animes that are like up there, top tier, they were not popular when they first came out. Over time, that's only when they got popular.
Yeah, they had like the cult following of just a small group of people who were like, wow, this is crazy cool. And now that, especially with quarantine and everything, everybody's probably watched through all their stuff. They're like, hey, let's go through some backlogs of stuff. Let's see some older things. And don't get me wrong, I think movies are way better now than they were back in the 90s. But I think anime used to be way better back then. Because it took talent. And like you're saying, it was stories. It wasn't cash grabs. It was a person who had this unique idea. And then there was the medium to get it out to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Samurai Champloo. I might have to watch that again.
I just finished watching that, and I was just like, this is so good. It was by the same guy. He doesn't do anything. The same guy who did Cowboy Bebop was the guy who did Samurai Champloo. He doesn't do anything like that anymore.
No, that's sad.
Those two are great. His other stuff is a little experimental, and it's all right. It's just not interesting to me.
I know we're going to do a Cowboy Bebop episode, but just the one last thing I want to point out, and I just realized it while we were sitting here talking, is his theme of trying to move forward, move on with your life. Because all of the characters who couldn't do that all wound up dead.
Yeah.
And the ones who could didn't die.
Yeah. And,
Mind blown.
I was about to, open that can of worms even more because, that will be another entire episode.
I'm gonna have to rewatch the series and take notes now for that episode.
Here's the thing: what is good on Netflix is Arcane. Now here's the thing: I'm all about Arcane. My standards may have been just dropped to below into the negatives because the Cowboy Bebop adaptation, but the Arcane show is well animated. The story. All right, here's the thing. Arcane is based off of League of Legends.
I have seen that popping up on my feed. I haven't
Right?
watched it, but
It's like based off of League of Legends. It's a multiplayer MOBA game. I know nothing about it. I can follow along the story. It's engaging. The characters are well written. And actually, there's been points in that show where, all right, this one character in the beginning goes by Powder. She has a freak out because her group of friends go off to go save this guy and leave her there. Now, I don't know why I'm flipping out about this, and maybe it's just because, like I said, my standards were set so low because of Cowboy Bebop, right? Because this is a Netflix series too. Arcane is. So, my standards were put so low, but like, she has this freak out, and I'm like, in all my years of watching animated movies, TV shows, I don't know why I stopped at show, that was the most realistic upset scene I had ever seen. And the show continued to impress me on the themes and subverting expectations, which you would expect a show to go. There's a one scene where I don't want to spoil too much.
just throw a spoiler alert in there. People can skip.
No, because you need to experience it for yourself to see it. This is where, like Cowboy Bebop, I'll spoil all that, the live action one, and I will crap on that all day. I will take a big fat steaming dump on that because that was an atrocity to everything that is decent left in the world. And whoever wrote that should feel bad. They should feel bad. They should go home, look at themselves in the mirror, and say, I feel
I wonder
bad.
if other people liked it though. I want to get back to Arcane, but I wonder if other people like all of these Bleach, Full Metal Alchemist, like all of these live action shows. If they never saw the originals, I wonder if going in blind, if they would actually enjoy them.
They might.
Because you don't have that baseline to compare it to. Or if they are objectively bad. I can't say that because I watched all of these things as a kid. I can't help but compare it. I can't separate the two.
I think what might happen is like people might go back and watch they see the show and they're like, oh, it got canceled. And they're like, maybe I'll go watch the other one if they liked it, like the original.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They might go do that. But Arcane, very good, well done. The people who made it, which is Riot Games, I'm pretty sure that's who it is. Like, it's very clear that they enjoy the world they made, and it is a labor of love. Now, yes, there's issues with the show. No show is perfect. There's issues here and there, but it's like very clear that they care about this. They're not just trying to make money. They wanted to make this show, and it shows.
Did you you said this was animated?
Yes, and the animation style is beautiful.
Netflix has been killing their animated shows lately.
It's like 2D mixed with 3D. Like some of the scenes when someone's sitting there, you're looking at it, you're like, that looks like a 2D like drawn image. And then they move and you're like, no, this is 3D.
Oh, that's cool.
It is such a style, and it's
I just like Castlevania.
beautiful.
They did their animated series on that. I thought that was awesome.
I haven't watched all of it, but everyone I talk to, they're like, it's awesome. It's awesome. I watched the first season and half of the second, and it's good. I like it. And
the first season was clearly they're like, oh, this is so much fun. Like you're saying, somebody just did it because they wanted to do it as a pet project, and it exploded, and everybody loved it. Have you watched Blood of Zeus?
Nope.
Very similar animation style, but it was kind of I don't want to say weird. It was a different take on some of that Greek mythology. I actually really liked it. At first, I was like, this isn't how this stuff went down and, in their tales. And I'm like, you know what? That's actually kind of cool that they did it. They kept a lot of the same stories, but they gave it their own twist. Yes. I liked it. I thought it was cool. There was, there was another one. They took all the Fate series and they made that a Netflix original. Fate. Do you ever watch it? It's the one where they do there's like mages, they summon heroes for the Holy Grail, and they do the Holy Grail War.
Nope.
Oh, there's
no idea what you're talking about.
All right, so the first 2 seasons of that are on Netflix. They were awesome. I think it was Fate Zero and then Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. I can't remember.
What is it, like an anime?
Yes, anime.
Oh, okay. I've seen like boxes of it or like in the store, but I never knew what it was. Okay.
Ugh.
Maybe that'll be something I have to watch.
My nerdgasm just came on just thinking about those. But that's everything nerdy all in one. Magic, heroes, sword fights, Just awesome. Anyway, that's my anyway. I had a topic. Netflix has just been doing awesome with a lot of their anime. So
yeah, some of their anime is,
in my opinion, I'm sure I'll get ripped a new one. Everybody's gonna tell me I'm wrong.
Dude, sometimes Netflix gets it, sometimes they don't, and that Cowboy Bebop they did not. Okay, Game Awards. We need to get that subject out because we've talked about everything but that. So Game Awards happened. I didn't even know about it.
I didn't either.
Jeff Keighley just sneaking in the back door doing a Game Awards without me. So I'm just
looks like he sneaks in back doors. But
we're moving.
Sorry,
on.
Jeff Keighley.
So we are going to kind of just go down the list, everything that was announced based off of this list I have here.
Is this an announcement show? I thought this was more of like a review.
They do. Here's the thing. They do actually give awards to games. I could care less because all the games that were
yeah, if they're good, they're good. If they're bad, they're bad.
Yeah, all the games that were on that list were games that I didn't like or didn't care for. So here's the thing, like doing awards for like games, doing awards for like movies, it's all subjective.
Yes.
There is no objective, this is a good movie, because a movie you like, a game you like, I don't like. There's a good chance that's the case. Like Last of Us.
My life. Yeah.
That series. Everyone gives it such high praise. I played through the first one. I found the story. I liked the story, but I was like, this is boring.
It got boring super fast because nothing changed. And it's not like third-person shooters that keep you engaged throughout. It was too slow.
And the reason probably a lot of people went through is because the story was there was that pull for like what happens next. And that's fine, I understand, but like gameplay wise, I don't like those games. Right?
I couldn't handle it after a while.
So we're not necessarily talking about the award given out for best shooter, best thing you can put in your butt. We are going out and we're talking about all the games that were announced, because they do announce games.
And I'm excited because I have no idea what got announced. So.
Also, Blizzard, Activision, you know them?
Aren't they the trash cans of human beings for game developers?
They have all these... Yeah, they're going down the tubes.
It sucks because back in the 90s and early 2000s, they made all the best games.
Remember what I said, though. Those were made by people. Wasn't made by the company.
That's true.
Those people moved on. They were not allowed to be there. All right. So they put it in a way where it's like there's speculation. It's like they're not allowed to be there, or they didn't have anything to show and wanted to focus on all their lawsuits and trials.
I was going to say that all their money's going to the legal.
But they didn't say anything. And then like the day before, I guess there was a tweet sent out by Jeff. He's like, Blizzard Activision won't join us this year. I'm like, good. I'm glad.
I really wish somebody would be like, why?
Yeah, why is that?
What's going on?
All right, let's go through the games. Star Wars Eclipse. I showed you that trailer. If you haven't seen it, go look up the trailer.
No idea what the game is going to be about, but it looked super cool.
Yeah.
Star Wars is too big of a universe, though. That everybody else would be like, I know exactly what it's about. It's like, well...
I hope it's about something different, because I'm sick of the Jedi save the day. I'm more of like a...
We had this...
I know we already did it and it almost tanked us. I like the Rogue Ones. I like the Han Solos. I like the offshoots. I like the stories in the universe. I don't like...
The Jedi have been around for 50 years. They can be side characters now, and everyone will be okay with it.
Dude, could you imagine... I'm going to say it. Could you imagine like a Star Wars themed show where it was like about a band of misfits going around the galaxy being bounty hunters, and one of them was a Jedi, but he was a side character? Now that would be cool.
That would be amazing. Don't take that. We're gonna pitch that to Disney.
No, they're not gonna take it.
Although that's gonna be the book of Boba Fett. I mean,
probably. I can't wait for that. Okay, moving on. Alan Wake 2 got announced.
I don't know that one.
Some people will know that. Wonder Woman game from the Middle Earth Shadow Mordor developers.
That
Elden Ring trailer, just a new
I'm so excited for Elden Ring, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to play it. I don't think it's next gen exclusive, but I have a feeling it's gonna be not great on the old consoles.
I don't know about that, because a lot of people, like when they did the beta test, they reviewed it on like PS4s and stuff, and they're like, it runs good. It doesn't look amazing, but it runs good.
I'd be willing to forgive some of the look as long as it plays good.
Okay, so Elden Ring, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League.
That sounds stupid.
Halo TV series.
Oh.
It'll be on Paramount Plus, so you can subscribe.
Yeah, that could be iffy. I used to be all about Halo everything. Books, games, movies. I consumed it all. And then
Yeah, I'm going to wait until it gets reviewed and people see it because I feel like it's going to be a Cowboy Bebop situation.
I hope not.
I hope so, just because you hope not. Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga. If you never played Hellblade 1, I recommend get it on sale, but it's really good.
Hellblade?
Yeah, Hellblade. Senua's something. I forget what the first one's called.
I'll have to see if
Senua's Sacrifice, that's what it was. It's like a third-person action game, but it deals a lot with schizophrenia. But it's set.
That sounds like a trippy ride.
It's set like in a Nordic setting.
Yeah.
So like you're running around killing these Vikings, but also the main character deals with this schizophrenia, and it's like it kind of helps you as a game mechanic, and it's done tastefully in like respect to like this is as clear as we could get the actual real thing, the real diagnosis. And just to kind of like spread the word about it in a way that was like, oh, I played a cool game. Oh, this is a real thing. I didn't know that. Because there are people who are stupid like that. Arc Raiders, which looks really cool to me. We'll touch on that. Forspoken. Horizon Forbidden West. Sonic Frontiers, an open zone Sonic adventure game. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie, right? And where is the guy's name who does the voice of Knuckles? They didn't put it on here. I was
Idris
expecting
Elba?
to put it. I hope so. I hope that's the guy.
Was it the dude from the Thor movies?
Yeah, the guy
The
who
big
ran
black
the gate.
Yeah, that's Idris Elba.
Oh, that's him. All
The
right, that's
greatest,
him.
the only actor I think I might put above Samuel L. Jackson.
Really?
I freaking love Idris Elba.
No, I'm more like really on Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson is one of the greatest creators and actors of our time. I won't die on that hill. I will defend that hill forever.
All right, I'm going to let you just have that and we're going to move on. Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course, DLC. So Cuphead DLC. Star Trek Resurgence.
No one cares about Star Trek.
Hey, this is where I will. Star Trek does have some good stuff. It's going to be like a Telltale style game where it's like one of those very story focused games. Oh, for the Star Wars Eclipse, what we were talking about earlier, it's listed as an action adventure. So there's probably some gameplay in there. Because here's the thing, they made sure to identify that, this is like a Telltale game. This is just a story game. The Expanse, a Telltale series, same thing like Star Trek. A Plague Tale Requiem. If you never played a Plague Tale Innocence, very good game. It's just about the rat plague.
I've seen it, but I never... I've seen it on there. I've never played it.
It's very good. Also, I also noticed that I've been doing this click thing all this episode, so I apologize. Jeff Keighley opened the Game Awards with a condemnation of industry abuse. Just throwing that in there. He opened it like, yo, this isn't cool. Dune Spice Wars is a... And I'm sorry to cut you off, but I got to get through this.
I know. I will never if you let me
Dune
keep talking.
Spice Wars is a real-time strategy, so based off of Dune, the book and the movie.
But did it have to be RTS? I want to read the books before I can watch the movie, but...
Apparently... the book's great. I've read it forever ago, and I was actually thinking about reading it again.
Books are like 60 years old, aren't? Like, they were written a long time ago, but they've supposedly held up fairly well.
They held up fine. The 80s Dune movie is
I've heard we don't
awful,
talk about that.
but it is it's so bad it's good, one of those things.
Wow.
Because there's like a cat duct taped to a bird. I think we talked about this. And then there's the new movie, which I still have yet to see, but I really want to. I'm in the works of stealing someone's HBO Max password.
HBO Max sponsor us.
Shut up. Silent Hill creator announces new game Slitterhead.
What?
Slitterhead. Yeah, Slitterhead.
I don't.
I don't like the name of it because it sounds like I'm saying a very bad slur.
Yeah, you
or
definitely
something.
feel a little bad saying that name.
Saints Row, the reboot of that. Among Us vents into VR, so Among Us VR.
Never played Among Us.
Oh, this one. I wanted to talk about. BioWare devs reveal, ex-BioWare devs reveal fantasy Victorian survival game, Nightingale. We'll come back to that.
Ooh.
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Oh, yes.
That one. And a lot of these are like kind of coming out March 2022.
Oh, wow. So they're coming up quick.
Yeah. Crossfire X. Couldn't tell you what that is. Hold on. I'll read it for you. Crossfire X is an upcoming first-person shooter from Smilegate and just so happens to have a single-player campaign developer by... Okay, I did read that right. Just so happens to have a single-player campaign developer by Alan Wake and control developer Remedy. There's a misspelling in this article, and I'm mad.
I has grammar goodly now.
Yes. Alongside a new trailer, Monster Hunter Rise, Sunbreak expansions coming out soon. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is coming to PC.
Oh, is that the second in their story?
Yeah.
I still have the first one on the PS4. I haven't played it yet.
But the second story is like a PS5 exclusive.
Well, this is why I don't like exclusives, because I'm still switching back to Xbox.
But that's a PlayStation thing. Xbox plays nice now. I like Xbox a lot more.
I know, PlayStation, that's why they're... we've ranted enough about that.
Yes, we have. Tunic finally has a release date. Rumbleverse, Doki V, Lord of the Rings, Golem, The Untold Story has a trailer.
Yeah, that looks terrible.
I haven't looked at it.
No one cares about Golem.
PUBG goes free to play. Babylon's Fall, that's one I'm interested in. Tachia, I don't know what that is.
It's like Chia Pets or something?
Annapurna. Wait, hold on. Thirsty Suitors, I'm sorry. Annapurna is the company. Thirsty Suitors is an action RPG about skating and dating.
We might have to play that just as a bit.
So, let me... Somerville, from the creators of Inside and Limbo. Planet of Lana. Texas Chainsaw Massacre online multiplayer horror game. Homeworld 3. GTFO has left early access. Dang, this is when an episode's gone on too long and we're just
because you're just like, I can't see. I'm just talking drunk. I'm not even drunk.
Metal Hellsinger, Gods of Metal trailer. Evil West. Okay. I got through the list. Those are all the big main things, the things that didn't really interest me, but those, and I might have missed out on a few. So apologies on that. But there was one that I never expected in my lifetime, which was...
Oh, this is the one you had mentioned before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2.
Haven't they made a bunch of those?
They made a bunch of those, but they're all in their own universe. They're all their own gameplay style, their own type of game. Warhammer Space Marine was very much like a very mobile Gears of War, where it was like you're running around, jumping around, but it also had a very heavy melee component to the game.
Is that the one you had the chainsaw sword?
Yes.
Your big blue armor?
Yes, it was so good.
I think I played a demo for that and thought it was amazing.
So good. The story was interesting. The story was engaging, and it left on a cliffhanger, and the sales weren't that great. So I'm like, all right, I'm never getting a sequel. So my buddy actually ripped the trailer because he knew I was such a big fan of this game. Ripped the trailer, just made some joking YouTube video and sent it to me. He's like, dude, you need to watch this. I'm like, I did. And then I watch it. And it goes through the cinematic. There's Tyranids, which is terrifying because in the first game you're just fighting orcs and you're fighting demons. And if we're fighting Tyranids, things have gotten bad. And
I gotta get into the Warhammer universe. This sounds like right up my alley.
Oh my god, it's so dark and depressing, and there's just so much to get into. It's overwhelming at first.
I mean, have you met me? My happiness quota is this podcast. Outside of this podcast, I am dark and depressing.
I just absorbed that. I'm dark and depressing. So it shows the whole trailer. Looks very good, very violent, very bloody. And I'm like, oh, it's probably like some new, I don't know. It's
live action adaptation.
It's a new Warhammer 40K game, but I don't know which, because there's a separation. Warhammer 40K is the sci-fi fantasy future. Warhammer is just the regular fantasy. There are two different, like, things going on.
I've definitely heard them called the two separate names before, so I didn't know there was a whole different...
Yep, there is a whole different thing. And the funny thing, it's like, as soon as, like, you know, the Space Marine kills everything, like, they all line up on the hill, pops off his helmet, and I'm looking, I'm like, is that Titus? Because that was the guy's name from the last game. And what happened at the end of the last game, I guess I'll throw a spoiler alert, but it doesn't really matter.
It's an older game.
He is accused of, pretty much he is accused of working with Chaos, which is this kind of this dark manipulating force that every Space Marine, everyone in the Warhammer universe has to fight with, because they use the warp to warp around all across the galaxy. So what the warp is they actually open a portal to hell, shoot through it, and then they pop out on the other side, and that's how they, you know, interstellar travel. There is no light speed. They just shoot through.
That sounds metal.
Dude, the whole series is metal. All right, let me throw this to you. So, the humans, there is so much to go through, and I'm not going to go through, but I just have this one metal thing that stuck out to me, where humans don't completely understand how, like, the warp and travel works, right?
Typical human nature.
So they have this giant robot god thing, right? And they have figured out the only way to keep their ships working and to have their, like, engines run and stuff like that, and their navigation through the warp, is daily they sacrifice like 2,000 to like 20,000 people daily to this machine god, because when they do that, everything works. If that makes sense.
That's...
Now, I probably got that wrong, but that's the general gist of it, and Warhammer fans are probably like, oh, it's like this.
The original was published by THQ.
Yeah. Now, THQ Nordic is... Here's what I learned about THQ Nordic was that they're actually not THQ, but when THQ went bankrupt, all those games that were thrown out there, they bought the licenses for them and just rebranded as like THQ Nordic, but they're not even THQ. But I'm glad they're bringing these games back. I'm trying to see. Another Warhammer thing. Orcs in that universe, right? So they have a very magical power, right? All of these ships and all the guns that orcs have should not be able to fly, should not be able to work. The magic that orcs have is that they believe that their ships will fly, and they believe their guns will shoot. I love how in the middle of all this blood and gore, there's just that message of hope of like, if you believe it can fly, it'll fly. Yeah, let's go kill them all. That is exactly what the orcs do. That's wonderful. They believe their ships will work, and they work. Because they just have that like magical kind of manipulation where it's like it will work because they all believe it works. But like people will actually, like in the Warhammer universe, like they got a hold of an orc ship and they're like looking around in the engines or looking around. They're like, this thing doesn't even have a fuel tank. It can't fly. And it's because the orcs believe it will fly, it will fly. That's beautiful. So Warhammer Space Marine 2 is happening. Titus was accused of working with Chaos because he resisted the Chaos at the very end of the game. And they're just like, you resisted that? You're working for them. And he's just like, no, I'm just awesome. What the heck? And then they took him away. And he, you know, usually the hero would be like, no, I'm going to fight back. He's just like, no, this is the way things are. And he was imprisoned. And now he's back. And I'm like, whoa, like I'm freaking out. Probably when I threw out the socials for this episode, I said, like, Brandon got a game that he never expected he would get in his lifetime. Everyone probably thought Alan Wake 2. No, it's Space Marine 2. Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm currently looking up to see if I can find the first one for sale anywhere.
It's got to be pretty cheap, and like
it's $40 on Amazon used.
This
one, right? And just quick picture. Okay,
you could go to the used game store in our area, not the GameStop, the other one.
The good one.
Yeah, the good one. You could probably go there and find it for much cheaper because here's the thing: when I got it and started playing it, it was $20 because it was on sale. So like, it's not that much.
I remember I got it. I got the free demo on the 360 and I played it and I was like, this is cool, but I'm not going to spend the money because I'm not into the Warhammer universe. I don't know if it'd be worth it for me.
You don't.
And really then I got older and I'm like, I don't care if I'm in the universe. I'll learn their universe as I go.
Yeah, I recently finished. We talked about this. The book Devastation of Baal. It was a Warhammer book. It was pretty good. It's just the guy who did the audiobook was weird, but yeah. So there's that game. I'm very excited for. There's obviously for the Game Awards, a lot of people are excited about certain games that came out, but the only ones that interest me was that Nightingale, which is I'm going to see what they describe it as. It is a new shared world survival crafting game. And it's first person combat and it's in a fantastical Victorian setting. So it's like this fantastical Victorian kind of that colonial punk, I guess we would call it, like Greedfall, right? That Victorian punk based magic and guns. But you like get transported through these like fantastical worlds. So it's more like Fable, I guess, with like all the magical creatures and stuff. But you're like running around, surviving, building like structures to live in and stuff.
That definitely sounds interesting. I've never been a huge fan of just the survival crafting.
Oh, dude, if I find a survival game that like I vibe well with, oh man, I put so many hours into it.
That's my problem. I haven't found a game I vibed with in
ages.
Besides, I mean, Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition came out, and I still can't stop thinking about it. But that's the only one in a long time.
Like, I'm thinking about it right now.
I really am. I mean, it's that old meme of like where they're laying in bed and the girl's like, I bet he's thinking about other girls. Yeah, and in my head, I'm like, what if I did make a female character? Would I romance Garrus or not? Like that's what goes through my head.
You would romance Garrus. I could tell you that.
Garrus is charming. I'd probably go for Garrus.
And also, I think female Shepard has better voice actor than the male. Not in the sense like it's just better. She's more dynamic with her role, I think, compared to Shepard.
I might go back. I might start fresh, and I might just make her just the destroyer of the galaxy.
The evil one.
I will make all of the bad choices I couldn't make before.
The Arc Raiders, that was the other thing I was excited about. It is okay, so it's a vibrant sci-fi player versus environment third-person shooter that features 3-player co-op and a heavy focus on teamwork. It will be free to play. It will come out. It will be beautiful, and I know you don't like it, but the thing I like about it is it's this kind of...
It's another Destiny. It's another...
No, I don't...
Anthem. It's another... Not that world, but that team up and go on raids and do... Introverts are people too. Stop making multiplayer such a big thing. I know I'm in the 1%.
I think less than that, because I even enjoy, like, I don't have to like talk to anyone, but I enjoy just hopping in game and playing with or against people.
See, I would like that, but people are nasty, and I'm not good at these games, so people just tear me apart. And I, as a grown man, I'm like, stop it, leave me alone. I just want to have fun.
Can't you just ignore it? Like the thing we're always told by our parents, like if someone's yelling, you ignore it. If you feed into it, they're gonna do it more.
Yeah, but then I get booted. That's the thing, is I get kicked out.
What games do you get booted from?
I thought they kick you out of all of them if you're trying to play with people, like Destiny and there's another one I can't think of it for the life of me. But
I think from the sounds of it, you haven't played the more current multiplayer games online.
Heck no.
And you have like the Xbox 360, PS3 like mindset where that could be. It's like you could just get booted. That's not necessarily the case now. It's kind of set up in a way where it's like everyone's playing if someone does bad on your team, you're gonna have to deal with it because everyone's here to play.
Yeah, I just
Right.
want to go and have fun. I'm an old guy. I just want to have fun on these games.
The Arc Raiders is the trailer's really cool. It's almost like Art Deco kind of style. Like even has a vibe of like do you know the vibe of like Deathloop? Have you seen like trailers for that or images? It's like kind of like that BioShock theme.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But the thing is with Arc Raiders, it's kind of that kind of art style and that kind of world. But the thing is like something or someone keeps sending these killer robots down to the planet from space.
Wow.
And they're just like, you're just out in the world and there's just like a meteor just crashes into the planet and it's a giant robot and you gotta fight it. Like that's the game loop.
Good
from
luck.
What it shows. Yeah. Those were the two I was interested in. Yeah, those were the two that I was interested in. Everything else looks, I mean, fine. Obviously, there's a place for it.
Yeah, I should say to each his own. As much as I rant about multiplayer stuff, I know it's huge. I know everybody loves it. I'm the Skyrim guy. I like being left alone in my own world and my own sandbox to play how I see fit.
Yeah.
I'm not socially, I can't even handle virtual social interaction. So
Yeah, and to each their own. Oh, there was also another game that I wanted to throw in there real quick, which was it's going to be done by Platinum. They're the ones who make like Bayonetta, Wonderful 101, all those really good action games. They're like really slick. And you're not going to like it. I can already tell you because
multiplayer?
Babylon's Fall. It's a multiplayer game that requires constant internet connection to play. So what you do is you and 3 other players, you have to ascend this tower, and that's all I know. There's trailers out there.
So is it not like a story-driven one? It seems more like it's just going to be a dungeon crawler almost.
Like I like my games with their stories, but I also like my games where I can just sit down. I'm like, I'm just gonna grind for this for like.
Well,
2
every
hours.
once in a while, like when I want to play a game and I don't know what to do, Diablo 3 is my go-to.
Yeah.
Just I go in, grind, level up, find new equipment. So
there's a very attractive kind of loop there that you're just like, yes.
As long as the gameplay's good, I can play that just over and over. I don't even care about the story on that.
Dude, I don't even know the story of Diablo 3.
There's not much to it.
When I played it the few times in my life, like everyone's just like, just skip the story. It doesn't matter. Just get
It's
loot.
cool. They have a few cool like cinematic movies through there where it's fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't need to know. You just kill everything. That's really all you need to do.
Whew. Man, what an episode. And we
yeah.
definitely did just not spend as much time on the Game Awards, but after like reading the list and then talking about it, like there was some good stuff, but not enough stuff to fill an episode. So I'm glad our ADHD kicked in and we're like, let's talk about this.
I definitely have to add. Forgive me for talking slow and stupidly. I'm doing a game list now because I have so many games. What was it? Hellblade?
Senua's Sacrifice.
I'm not gonna spell that right.
Just put Hellblade. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and then Warhammer 40K.
Yep.
Space Marines. Because there's a bunch of games out there, aren't there?
Yeah, be sure you put Space Marine because it will be like, oh, it's thinking of that.
All right. Now I have to go and work a bunch of overtime so I can afford all these games.
The thing is, I don't think you would. I think just a trip to that used store. I think they would have that.
We're just buried in a lot of bills at the moment.
Buried in debt.
Like we're all right, but if I want to go out and buy stuff like that, I got to put my time in and welcome to adulthood and not being rich, guys.
Yeah, that's what the that podcast should do. The keys to adulthood. Just expect to be poor your whole life.
If they want to like do a co-op thing, we could do one together where she does all the helpful stuff, but then we could do like a collab where we're just like, hey guys, here's what adulthood's really like, and we can just tear down any hope and dreams you have. But in a very realistic way.
Yeah. All the stuff like she talked about was just legit, where it was like, it's good.
Remember how your parents always told you they don't regret having you? They regret having kids. Maybe not you specifically, but they regret the financial burden that you placed on their life.
Kids are so expensive. It's like another like thing you have to take care of that thing. And then if the thing dies, it's not like,
they had a kid and you destroyed all passion in their relationship, and that's why they're both miserable.
Okay.
I don't want to destroy that podcast anymore, but I really hope if they do listen that they find that funny.
All I imagine is just we are just at the top of a hill and we are just going down a slope. We're starting to go down that slope, and I'm cutting it off right now.
We just get a message. Stop.
Cease and desist. So, yeah. Okay. I hope everyone took it in good fun. The IntoleRANT podcast and the Keys to Adulthood. Good podcast. They each do their own thing. I actually really enjoyed them, joking aside. And I think if they listen to this, they're not going to get this far. So like, this guy's just being a jerk.
Yeah. If anybody listens to both ours and their, like, just, it was a joke.
Yeah. Just someone let them know, like, no, it's a joke. You guys are doing good stuff. It's great. Next episode.
Also, Australian accents. You can't beat that.
You cannot beat Australian accents. We just got like, whenever we talk, if you listen real closely, there's almost a lisp that just is like saying burger. That's a white person. You gotta get real in there and listen real close so you can hear burger. And, yeah, and next week, I was gonna say next week we're gonna have a focus topic, but the thing is, every time we do that, we got
the holidays coming up. Our schedules are gonna be like jam packed just with family stuff. Which always stinks.
I mean, for you guys. Me, family stuff? Nah. I cut that.
Lucky.
I cut that Hydra's head off, all 3 of them at once. It ain't coming back.
My wife's parents are divorced, so I have like 17 things I have to go to.
When you're a kid, that's awesome because you get 2 Christmases and the parents, they're vying for the love of the kid, so they're going to one-up each other.
Yeah, but now we're older and we're like, now I'm the one who has to buy presents for everybody. And...
Yes. All right.
I know why adults drink, guys.
All right, leave it on a depressing note. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time we see you because the holidays are coming up. Our schedules might get wacky. Just a heads up, episodes might just, for a few weeks, we might not be as consistent, but, we're not going anywhere. It's just because holidays.
I highly enjoy this, so I'm definitely going to make sure we find our time to get these out. And stay tuned for that Cowboy Bebop episode. I am super pumped for that.
Whenever that is. I don't think...
Yeah, we got to plan that out.
Not going to list it, not going to tell you, because as soon as someone does it and they're like, oh man, that's the Cowboy Bebop episode. I don't like anime, so I'm not going to listen to it. No, it's going to hide in there and you're sitting there listening. You're like, wait a minute. We're talking about Cowboy Bebop for 30 minutes. We're going to
just name it. We're talking about the stock market. And then they're like, okay, that was a lie. On to the Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. Did you know stock markets include money? All right, Cowboy Bebop. That's how it's going to go.
Now we legally can't be sued. We said the word stock market.
Stock market. All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you for listening. Be safe out there. We love you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.